Hi, my name is Mrs. Tickner and I'm here to talk to you about your child's career journey at Wangels and our work experience programme. Hopefully this presentation will give you an insight into the careers programme that we offer to all our students at Wangels, the changes to the post-16 curriculum that will affect your child's next steps, and finally to explain the work experience process. This voiceover isn't an exact replica of the presentation delivered in the parent meeting, but is designed to provide sufficient insight into what was covered. I'll start with our careers programme. Since joining the school in 2019, we've been developing a careers programme which is sustainable and has progression through the time your child is with us. Our programme aims to enable all students to develop the skills and attributes they need for the world of work, and to provide students with impartial careers information and guidance to enable them to make informed decisions at the next steps. But ultimately, we want to build confidence and resilience in our young people so that they feel ready to take on those next steps, something we hope will give them a competitive edge in the labour market. As soon as the students join us in Year 7, we're thinking about their future. In the first term, they are given a Unifrog account, which allows them to find out about different jobs and educational pathways. Students can access this platform throughout their Wangels time, and indeed they have when they've left too, right up to the age of 25. This year, we were in the top 10 of all organisations using Unifrog, about 2,000 in total, for our Year 7 students. We continue revisiting careers throughout Key Stage 3, where we focus on different skills development in our Careers and Enterprise Days for Year 7 and 8, and then turn towards the Year 9 options and how they might fit with future pathways with a taster day for those subjects not taught at Key Stage 3. Alongside each drop-down day, we have 6-lesson programme delivered in personal development time, which supports students on the day, and an assembly which focuses on an enterprise skill. From Year 10 onwards, we move away from skills a bit and move towards the careers that students might want to pursue. Your children will have their Careers and Enterprise Day at the beginning of July, which will help prepare them for work experience a few weeks later, as well as get them thinking about their post-16 options. Again, this is supported by tutor-led series of lessons delivered in personal development time and an assembly. It's also in Year 10 that students will first start to meet our careers advisor in a more formal way. We have drop-in sessions available prior to this. These will be with Miss Greenaway. Last year, our Careers and Enterprise Day looked a little like the following slide, a carousel of activities that all students were able to attend. In Year 11, everything steps up a little bit as the students prepare for their exams and their next steps. As in previous years, our programme seeks to support them through this process. Our Careers Advisor meetings continue so that all students in the year group have the opportunity to attend, and follow-up interviews can take place if needed. We have 2 lots of tutor-led careers sessions in Year 11, one in the first term to support students with their college and sixth form applications, and a second to support with Microsoft Interview Day, which is in February. Incidentally, we strongly recommend that students get their applications in by about January time at the latest, with some organisations having deadlines much earlier than this. A quick tip or word of warning from me. Make sure your child accepts any offers that they are given, even if perhaps they're not sure about them, as colleges operate on a first-come, first-served basis, and popular courses get filled up quickly, particularly trade-based courses. They can always make their final decisions nearer the time. My oldest child didn't officially make up their mind until they got their results. Even on results day, we have our careers team available alongside the pastoral staff and senior leadership teams supporting students with their next steps. The next few slides were delivered by Mrs. Ward. There's no voiceover for these, but feel free to read through them to find out more information about what makes Wangels Sixth Form so special. I've mentioned Unifrog a few times now, and some of you might be wondering what on earth I'm talking about. Well, Unifrog is a universal destinations platform that is designed to support learners in making informed decisions about their futures and has a range of tools that are suitable for all year groups. Each student has their own account where they can explore all the career and next step options available to them, and they can find information on everything from managing their workload to writing a winning CV. Students have access to a wide variety of video content and written content, and interactive quizzes and tests, including one about work environments, which might be useful when trying to think about work experience options. Not only do students have Unifrog accounts, it's now possible for parents to have access too. You can sign up using the information in the pink box. You can also sign up to Unifrog's Parent Carer newsletter when you first sign in to get expert advice and guidance on supporting your child with their next steps. Unifrog will be used to manage our work experience placements too. More information on that later on in the presentation. I've talked quite a bit about Wangels and what we do, but I thought it might also be useful to look at some of the changes that are happening in education in general, namely post-16 choices. You may have heard in the press about these things called T-levels or apprenticeships, for example, but not really know too much about them. I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour on these, but as before, if you have questions, please do feel free to contact the school. At the end of Year 11, your child will have a choice of 3 different pathways: A-levels, T-levels, and apprenticeships. A-levels most of you will be familiar with, as these are the academic qualifications that have been around for ages. Apprenticeships will also be something you've heard of, but these have changed in recent years. They're very different to the apprenticeships in the past. Apprenticeships typically consist of 80% on-the-job training and 20% studying. For some opportunities, this means 4 days per week at the workplace and 1 day at a college. And for others, this means you will work for about 10 months of the year and spend 2 months of the year studying. There are several types of apprenticeships at different levels, although there tends to be more vacancies at the lower levels of the qualification. You can use Unifrog. There's a little toolbox that will help you to research these. So some of the levels that you might expect at apprenticeship. We have traineeships, which are equivalent to the GCSEs or below, which last a maximum of 6 months. They are unpaid, but you gain experience and skills. There's intermediate level, which is the equivalent of 5 GCSEs, and there's an advanced level, level 3 equivalent to 2 A-levels. Then we move into higher, level 4 and above, so foundation degrees, and degree apprenticeships, which is the equivalent to a bachelor's or a master's degrees if it's level 7. As well as working on the job, you study for a degree with these ones, and you earn from day one, and your tuition fees are paid by the employer. They are highly desirable and highly competitive as a result. Some organisations might run their own programs, school leaver programs. Places like KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers do this. Unlike A-levels and GCSEs, students need to sign up with employers directly to do these qualifications, and the opportunities come up at different times of the year, so it's good to check Unifrog or the National Apprenticeship Service, the link is on the slide, regularly. This may also be useful when accessing work placements too, as it gives you an idea which organisations are willing to work with young people. And then finally, we have the newest qualification on the scene, the T-levels. These are big qualifications. You only study one of them, and it is a full-time programme, which includes work experience as well as technical learning. They are designed by employers and are being rolled out over a period of time starting from 2020, with 16 of the 24 qualifications now been rolled out. Due to the nature of T-levels, these are mainly delivered in college settings. The link on the slide takes you to the government website, which tells you a little more about these qualifications if you want to know more about them. They are big courses though, please be aware, and they do narrow the options and breadth of knowledge these students have. Finally, you'll probably have noticed that on the bottom of the slide that the BTEC and vocational qualifications do not appear as one of the options for your children as they move into Year 12. This is because they are being phased out at the same time as T-levels are being brought in. Currently, All Level 3 BTEC programs will be phased out by September 2025. There are some qualifications being brought in to replace some of them. These are known as Alternative Academic Qualifications, or AAQs, and will fit underneath the A-level pathway. Okay, that's enough about the future. Let's get into the now. What is work experience and what do you need to know? Okay, so work experience this year will be from the 15th of July to the 19th of July inclusive. In recent years, our work experience programme has been what can only be described as niche, with last July being the first year for a while to provide an opportunity for all students to experience either face-to-face work experience again or virtual work experience. However, as we continue to strive for excellence, we are hoping to get all our students out in a real placement in July of next year. This bit of the presentation is to give you an insight into our plans of doing this and to seek your help in ensuring that we get as many students as possible into a placement. There are lots of different reasons why work experience for all is a focus of our Year 10 students. In my previous school, I coordinated work experience each year, and the positive effect it had on those students was enormous, even when the placement didn't quite go according to plan. When I joined Wangels, I wanted that for our students too. I want them to feel what it's like to get out of bed and go to work each day, to develop those transferable skills that employers are looking for and gain the competitive edge over others who are applying for the same jobs. Alongside this, it's a great opportunity to find out about different industries and careers, even if it's just to help them know that that's not the job for them. Last year, the feedback from students and employers and staff was really positive, with all students noting a difference in their confidence and employability skills. And ultimately, as with our personal development programme, I want work experience to help build the confidence of our students, to build resilience and pride, which in turn helps our students to engage in better in their learning and their ability to take on future challenges. So now we know the why, I want to talk to you about the how, the plan. The whole cycle takes just under a year. We have already launched work experience with the staff and students before half term, and of course with you during this presentation. Students have been asked to source their own placements with the support of the school, their family and friends where possible. There are a number of reasons for doing this. One, they realise that getting a job or placement is tricky and you need to work hard at it. Number two, the students buy into their placement better if it's something that they have chosen and actually want to do, or if there's a family connection. And three, perhaps selfishly, I can tap into the amazing parent and carer resource that the school has, rather than trying to find 250 placements all by myself. That being said, I will be sourcing some as a backup, including those employers that have supported the programme last year, and there's virtual work experience placements that can fill any gaps. So the deadline for finding a placement is ideally Wednesday the 21st of February. This allows me enough time to do the health and safety checks following that. Once they've found a placement, they need to add the details of it to Unifrog. I'll be sending out a guide alongside this presentation which explains how to do that and should provide some additional information about this process. Once the placements are in February, I can do the health and safety checks that need to be done. I can try to make sure that everyone has a place, carrying out some workshops based around work experience, either in pastoral programme or on drop-down day in July, with work experience finally taking place in July. That leaves just a few days to do some follow-up when they come back to school, issue certificates, although I appreciate this might be in September, and send thank you letters, etc., before the whole process starts again with the next year group. This will be the second year that we are doing this. We have made some changes based on our experience of last year, but there are still likely to be some hiccups along the way. Please be patient with me and I'll keep you informed as we go along. So in terms of your role within this, I need your help, please. Can I ask you to talk to your child about work experience and the options they might explore? Support your child in securing a placement. Now, I don't want you to find the placement for them themselves. I want them to do that. But there will be a letter which you can share with employers that's sent out with the details of this evening. This confirms that the request is genuine and helps collect the necessary information required to complete the Unifrog's placement tool. Please check that your child has added the placement to the Unifrog tool and actually tick the box at the bottom that says complete. Nothing starts moving until this is done. So the emails get sent once it's completed to the employer where they put in their details. It then goes to you as the parent and then finally comes to me as the work experience coordinator to confirm that that placement is going ahead. Once that is done and I can press the OK button, that generates an email that goes out to all parents to let them know that the placement is going ahead. So with that in mind, can you please also complete the consent form using the email link from Unifrog? Now, I should warn you, sometimes this does end up in the trash. So if you're expecting it and you haven't got it, look there first before contacting myself. At this stage, we're not expecting students to be doing particularly technical work. Work experience in Year 10 is about seeing the world of work and understanding how to behave within it. Students need to understand that they are not running these companies just yet. I've put a list of possible placements where I have had students in the past, but if your child has a particular interest or you have a particular link, feel free to exploit it. In addition to these regulars, I've had students source placements at Heathrow and big multinational companies such as Johnson & Johnson. But these do tend to be the exception to the rule and can be very competitive. The Heathrow placement involved assessment centres and panel interviews and all sorts. Some of these placements can also be quite tricky to get hold of, vets and banks being key examples, so I would advise you apply to these sooner rather than later. Last year we had a student who was desperate to do a vet placement, and she spent an awful long time and got turned down an awful lot before finally securing a placement. She also then later had a couple of those placements fall through, but kept on going and managed to get a really great placement in a farm eventually, which gave her lots and lots of experience in the veterinary world. Some placements are also not possible until the child is over 18. This includes mobile phone retailers and also the NHS. But again, if you've got a connection, please do try and exploit that. There are sometimes exceptions to the rules. Police can also be a bit tricky. They like to do things their way and they have block placements rather than being able to work with students and schools on specific dates. As a parent myself, I've sat in these kind of things before and listened diligently. Thank you for that. It is appreciated. And then I get home and I think of a load of different questions that I could have asked. So what I've done is try to preempt some of those questions that you might have had and noted them here on this slide. I'm sure I haven't covered everything, and if you'd like to ask me any further questions, then please feel free to send your questions to the dedicated work experience email address that I monitor. This will be shown on the next slide. So in summary, in this presentation, I've talked about the careers journey of all our students, the post-16 choices that your children will be offered at the end of Year 11, and introduced you to Unifrog, told you about the parent sign-up option, and given you a whistle-stop tour of work experience with the key dates on the slide below. I appreciate it's a lot to take in. Should you have any questions or queries, please feel free to contact me on the email, the work experience email, which is also on the slide below. All that's left for me to say now is thank you. Thank you for listening and in anticipation for your support of the Work Experience programme. Goodbye.